So what may I say is this, because we know that farming is the foundation. Farming is sometimes even more important than education. You see me, it work hand in hand, but first is food. Food is what? You increase food production, then crime will reduce because the cost of food is going to reduce, right? And then no, so you have to know. You know myself, we focus on 7 very important things. The farming, right? And them always listen to me and then them putting out them PowerPoint presentation. You do the farming, then you link up, you deal with the digital education, right? You deal with that. You have to address the wages when it comes to police and teachers. You have to address that. You have to make sure, say, you have the foreigners, a bridge between the foreigners and Jamaica, an incentive program. The foreigners must be able to easier do business in Jamaica. We should not be importing so much cars from Japan. To create a good incentive program with foreigners is to limit the amount of import of cars from Japan and increase the sending of cars with certain criteria from people abroad. Allow people abroad to be more invested in tourism, give them access to beachfront properties and different things, and the ability to bring in the tractors and the trucks at low cost. If you allow the Jamaicans abroad to own Jamaica, we will have a generational wealth ownership of our country. Jamaicans need to own the country. We need to own our country, not investors. And that is the challenge that can curtail the sellout nature of our country. If we had a government who understood that principle of our grandchildren owning our country, they would change the laws so that the people abroad that goes and work with foreign capital can invest and bring in cars and different things to have Jamaicans locally purchased so we don't depend on any nation. Jamaica has to be a self-sustaining society. 90% of Jamaica, if I had the power, I would make it a self-sustaining society. We have aluminum, so we can produce the bicycles. We can produce certain things. Everything we can make, we make it ourselves. You know, so with the influx of food production, the export is increased. With a handshake with foreigners, if you're a foreigner and you're applying for a visa, you have to commit $20 if you want to go abroad for the rest of your life. If you want to come back to Jamaica on a plane, if you left, you have to pay a $20 a month after a certain age back to Jamaica if you ever want to come back here. So that is the nation building tax. We have to tax outgoing foreigners. So for the next 30 years of Rondie life, Rondie should have been paying into Jamaica a tax. It's called a foreigner tax, so that I help to build roads while I'm abroad, and I help to build schools and infrastructure. And when I come back home, based on what I've paid into the society, then my taxes on my land is reduced dramatically. Me not for pay for shipping barrel or cars. So we have to create an incentivized program that bring capital into Jamaica from foreigners leaving Jamaica, so we don't have an exodus of what I call knowledge, power, and resources. So if we look back at our country, we see that because of the exodus we invested in foreign more than we invested in Jamaica because our forefathers did not have the foresight to make sure they created a link between us. So when we left, we really didn't leave. No Jamaican should really leave Jamaica. And that's how the next generation benefit. But I think the leaders, because of their inability to see a great country, or the inability to speak to the people and kind of give them that vision. You see, it all comes down to leadership. When you are elected as a leader but not selected divinely, this is why we have a problem. Leaders comes every now and then, but the visionless ones are ones who are never born with the ability to lead. So what we're finding is that the ones who really should lead this great country don't have the opportunity because we have been exported and distracted while we were abroad, building the systems for them abroad. So it again comes to mindset in leadership, a quality of mind that determines a quality for the next generation. Always thinking about the children, not just our children, but all the Jamaican children, them, to build them to compete with the world, not just in entertainment and running. If we're the fastest sprinters, that means we're supposed to be some of the best researchers against cancer because we have so much herbs. So where we focus our resources in running and in music, we did not focus our resources, whether it be in legal, intellect, civil engineering. So there should be no bad roads when Jamaicans have some of the greatest pilots. Jamaicans have some of the greatest doctors. Where did we fall short? We fell short when our Jamaican nationals that went abroad did not have an incentive to look back and to build the nation. That's one of the places we fell short. So we have to review our 50-year past and look at it and see where we made some errors. And if we can correct those errors, we can have a better Jamaica. You see, most hardworking Jamaicans are looking towards their children. So when you have Chinese people who have a 200-year plan, we have a 1-year plan in acquiring our assets and our clothes and our cars and our, we have a short-term plan when the investors that are coming in or the foreigners that are coming into our country, they have a 200-year plan. So these are some of our shortcomings. So individually, we have to, each Jamaicans have to assess ourselves and ask ourselves, if each of us really want to see a Jamaica in 2050 as a Singapore, it's going to eventually happen, but our great-grandchildren are not going to be the beneficiaries of this new Jamaica if we do not act now independently as powerful, strong Jamaicans. If we do not act now as nationalists, as the brain power of this country, 2050 is going to come and our great-grandchildren will not be the beneficiaries of this new society with these new ports in this country. So we are at a crucial point now where we're having this meaningful discussion that all us Jamaicans who are brilliant in Jamaica and abroad, this is the kind of communication we should be having on YouTube, WhatsApp. And when I talk about Jamaicans being scattered brain, this is what I talk about. Without your own evolution that can allow you as a man or woman to focus. I have not found 10 Jamaicans that can focus because of we have not yet mastered our own minds in focusing and focusing. When I went to corporate America, it allowed me to focus, to learn the art of focus. And I know there's a lot of Jamaicans out there that have that ability to focus. So we have to know, harness our focus and really take a personal audit. Really take a personal audit and look down 2050 and realize that there's an urgency when it comes to the ownership of our country and our grandchildren. Our forefathers, they had this insight, but they did not know the internet and media. Our forefathers who fought for our freedom and liberation did not know that there would be mind control radio, mind control television, an infestation of bad music, and an infiltration, a cultural invasion of morality that would attack our country and challenge the fabric of our future. Our ancestors didn't know this, so we were caught off guard. So when the world came in with their television and their fast food culture, it had an effect on our culture. And with that effect now, you find the younger generation adapting to that fast food culture, that low moral compass. When the next generation, that young generation adapted to that, we start finding the breaking down of the system. Now the young generation go towards a quicker way of making money, a faster life, guns, crime, and drugs. You see, so this fast life, no discipline way of lifestyle was invaded our grandmother's teachings, our grandfather's teachings. The China Wall was built, and China maintained a culture and a way of life. China knew that a culture is what makes a people. So China had to build a wall. Jamaica had no cultural wall when the invasion happened. So when our culture was invaded and our people's mind and psyche and morality was invaded, we couldn't even help ourselves or our children. So now you see a culture of guns, crime, relaxation, and no discipline. That our ancestors did not see. But the Chinese saw that. The Chinese saw that. And they built a wall to protect themselves. And because of the China Wall, China now is a leading force, because the culture of China maintained itself. The way of life maintained itself. The Japan culture, because of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because of that, they came and they learned from the world and went home to build home. Again, Jamaica is split with so many different people, religions, and so many different ideology. We don't have a common culture anymore. It's a multicultural, and it's mostly the cultural influence is vastly being imported. And what we now export to the world is more nastiness than more morality. Jamaica used to be a place of exporting morality to the world. There's a shift going on. And what we find in that shift in Jamaica, exporting so much nastiness even to Africa, that kind of shift, we used to be the moral compass because of Rastaman. We used to be that moral compass, not because of Christianity, but because of Rasta. And when even Christianity became a fashion show, when Christianity became just a dance and a skip, that's when we saw the invasion of morality, the low morality happen. So what I'm saying to you people is this. We have to look way down the line and realize that each Jamaican have to really think hard about their decisions now and how they're going to play a part now that we are becoming the ancestors. I'm 47-year-old. We have gray. We're now becoming the ancestors, the grandfathers and the grandmothers of our country, our great country. But without focus, agenda unity, because we can all have different religious denomination, but we must have agenda unity. It shows you the dysfunctional nature of our society. When I'm brave enough to do this, it shows you how we've been infiltrated to destroy each other, right? So you have to understand that when now we have to now go back to the well. When you're poisoned, when you're infiltrated, when somebody, the body snatcher, come and take your mind and your body, you have to go back to where, when Superman got weak, when we Jamaicans are losing faith or having the ability and the power, we are the Superman and woman. When we got weak, you know, Superman in the story had to go back home to rejuvenate his power. Jamaicans need a rejuvenation, not from Jamaica, but from the African well, the African mind. In order for us to be as strong as we once was, we have to go back home. Jamaica no longer has the source of morality, the source of strength that could reset us and reconstruct us in the power we once were. Africa has that, and the African intellect and the ancient Kemetic teachings. That has the ability to reconstruct us, and that's where Marcus Garvey again comes in. We don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. The man already did it, created the blueprint. So if we don't institute Marcus Garvey in every church, in every school, in every child's mind, in 2050, we're going to lose. And we're going to lose big. And our children and our grandchildren's going to lose. Our leaders were instrumental in building societies across the world. Why is the King Garvey not respected in Jamaica? And the great teacher, Dr. Henry Clark, spoke about this. How many Marcus Garvey high schools do we have? Again, we find that our brothers who, when the body snatcher invade our brothers and sisters who have no African intention, the black Jamaicans in Jamaica, their mind and body has been invaded with materialism, and the colonial master live within their blood, and they will not give that up for an African mind. So you find where the problem lies. When the slaves want to be like their masters, they will sell their own brothers. So you see, when they suit up in their red coat and go to lock up and to just train for corruption, is because their masters are corrupted. They do exactly how they're trained by their masters. You see, so a new Jamaica man takes a new mind. What we've done is to create the material to to start the catalyst for this new Jamaican mind. When you go to tapvideo.com, the new Jamaican man will be built. I promise you, the new Jamaican man will be built of a new mind with teachings from Dr. Henry Clark, Amos Wilson. That Jamaican mind will have an African mind again. And when that Jamaican again rise, the Rastaman focus on Selassie and Ethiopia to be more ancient than any Israel. Ethiopia has always been more ancient, and that's why the Rastaman stayed focused. And he never wavered because he was focused on Africa. He had an African mind. The Christian focuses on Israel, not Africa. So we see the deception in spirituality. And when this was planted this way, how can you have a Nigerian Christian focus on Israel when the focus was always Africa first? Nothing biblical really focused on Africa. It focused on another party. So even in our spiritual system, when it doesn't focus on Africa, we don't have a moral compass from our ancestors. Relearning this is what it's going to take to build this new mind. So when our colonial masters give us our spiritual system, we live in confusion. So you see, Marcus Garvey already did this. It's nothing new. But we see that we are hypocrites to our great leaders. We don't need to look any further. We have the greatest leaders, the greatest runners, and the greatest musicians. We need to look to self. And it is a disheartening reality that our leader, our great leader, was able to influence the world for change, but our home didn't embrace this change. So we still have ghettos today. And we still have men who have given up the fight. We still have that. We have singers who sing against Babylon, but not organize against Babylon. So you find we're just singing a new song. We just sing over and over and over. Smoke our marijuana, drink our rum, love our woman, dance and sing, but we're not active in the implementation of the change we want to see as grown men and grown women and real warriors. Our ancestors set the tone. It's a relay, and we must continue from our ancestors to protect this nation as we move forward into 2050. It has to be that 2050 plan, how you as a Jamaican will participate in that change and give your life, whether you building containers. If you are a Jamaican that's retired, you have more than $3,000 in your bank account. Don't lie to yourself. Expect more change from yourself. Don't set up big dreams to change Jamaica. Buy a container and get the libraries and the books. Jamaica has 14 parishes. We should have 200 containers with physical books, and pay somebody locally to pay the children $100 for every book they rent and $100 for every book they come back with a book report. We need to re-educate our country. Put physical books on the ground to let the mind refocus from social media to knowledge capital. 200 little girls and boys should be in China right now learning civil engineering. We have bamboos to make flutes for consortium and music. We have backside to make instruments. It's about the Jamaican mind wanted in this new country. We don't want anything. We like to point fingers to government. There's no such thing as a government. The people exist more than the government does. The government don't exist without the people. So there's no government without the people. So it is you that is the problem. It is your lack of activation. It is your lack of inspiration and application. So when I spend my own money to build this network, that was me deciding that's what I'm going to leave for my daughter to see a Jamaica that is good and beautiful. And there you have the little people who came to try to defame me, do everything them can do to throw shit at me, when I am probably one of the men in this time that can inspire another generation. But you see, they don't even see what's in front of them. When I speak to the people who call me and talk to me about Jamaica Good Life, they say, Randy, it's a program of healing. And that was my intent, because Jamaica healed me when I was sick. So you have to understand Jamaica. When you become the samurai Jamaica and the focused Jamaican, and when you get the intent to move even single-handedly and move independently, Bob Marley in Zimbabwe say, now me know who the real revolutionaries are. He had to sing on stage by himself when them start the gas and everything. We have to ignite in each of us Jamaicans that warrior spirit, where independently each of us with the same agenda, unity, to make Jamaica great again. It is enough of the talking and the backbiting. When I put up a video with the Prime Minister and I said he did a great job, 99% of the people could not see what I was saying. If the Prime Minister planted callaloo in his yard to show you an example of what needs to be done in each of your yard, you should do the same thing. But you know what they did? They said, him sell out. Anytime we can think negative, we do just that. The negative thought is at the front of our frontal lobe, because they cast us as sinners. When you read your religious doctrine, you're nothing but sinners. So the negativity is planted in you, in your psyche and in your spirit. You're a no good people. That's what they tell you in your religion. You're no good. You're no good. You're not worthy. So you grow up thinking that. So any chance you get to impose your negativity, you do just that immediately. Because without the hugs that you receive from your family, men who never receive a hug from them father, we are a people that's suffering from love. Many broken families started from slavery. We were just breeders. And the family structure was broken. And the woman took her place as men. And the men work hard too. But we don't have the love, because they beat the love out of us. So now, even in our words, we can't use certain words. So we have to understand the psychological damage. And until we start building mental and psychological institutions to help the mind of these people, you're going to find a constant smoking, drinking, sexing, just dancing. You're going to find a reservation like people who are alcoholics, like the Indians in America. Most of the Jamaican people have fallen to alcohol, marijuana, and they're in a deep sleep. You see the inner city youth sitting on the wall, and they just smoked out because the system of finance is so bad. The trickle down of money is so bad. The cost of internet is so expensive, and they want to be a part of the social media. But what do they have? They have chemicals that grow from the earth to keep them calm. But if they remain just calm and relax, they will do nothing. So just like the Indians, the conquerors knew what they were doing. Intoxicate them with religion. Intoxicate them. Let them become dancers and let them become servants in tourism and create a sex tourism industry for the women and the boys. And this sex tourism that was created in Jamaica, they now moved in and used the people as flesh. So now, even the system, the military system, they use the people as just vote numbers. Because they know the people have no options, are not educated. They know the people don't have no inspiring leaders around them. They know the people don't have access to the books to liberate their minds. So they don't put the books in place. They don't put the libraries in the inner city and in the ghetto. They don't do that. Oh no. Because if you educate the people, they will start asking for more. So them keep the people dumb. Keep them becoming entertainers. That is in order of the day. So you have to understand why I do what I do. Why I stay the course. So I say to those who don't know me, hopefully you can get this video. And the commitment to building virtual institution that we will reprogram the next generation. The ancestors have blessed me in abundance. So I have to speak proud. When you call my name, make sure you call me. When you see Marcus Garvey, see Rondie Pottinger. All right? If I live to age 70, we're going to build the Marcus Garvey house in Botswana. The land has already been given to us. And the woman from Linstead, because she heed the call, she's going. You Jamaicans are afraid. You're afraid of sacrificing your own money. You're afraid of being what you truthfully are. You're afraid. You are afraid of even, you are afraid. You are distracted too easily. If the world is burning, let the world burn, but save on the yard. Save on the backyard, save the children them. Lack focus. Much of you Jamaican men and women watching YouTube, find an organization. I said it before, but after me done talk now, tomorrow, gonna get scatterbrain again. So me teach you to get a headset and lock out the sound. Heal your own mind. If you can't sit down for 8 hours and in silence, Jamaican on a mind scatter all over the place. Focus. You can't even turn off social media for 1 week. Put your phone in one bag and put it in one cupboard for 1 week. You can't do that. We are plugged in to all the problems of the world. Focus on your own backyard. The children in the ghettos need you know. They need you know to build containers with library. Look what I've done. And everybody, yeah man, Randy, great work, keep going. Keep going. Wow. You know, so I'm tired. I'm tired. I wanted to give an example of what one man could do. And if me can do so much to impact globally. I spoke to a friend today and she said, Randy, to do the psychological change, the program that you create, program. So like we were programmed to be psychologically complacent, I create a program to mobilize us to go back home. That is the intent of Jamaica Good Life, and that is the great accomplishment. To change the psychology of a man is the hardest thing to do, especially when you want that man to build his nation. To look back home and to give that man hope, it is the hardest thing to do. And I was trained by corporate institution to stay the course. They put me in advertising for 8 years, and I took their teachings and I applied to this channel and started to build my Jamaican nationals from across the water.